Okay, so the question had come up whether an Atom80 redrive from the 19 to 20 was any different. As far as the internals, all I've been told is that possibly the bearings have been upgraded, but as far as everything else, it does appear that they will bolt on and exchange one for one. Here's what I found. This is the MY20. My 19 was starting to develop a little bit of gear noise. It's really hard to hear, but there is a little tick in one of the ball bearings you can feel. I caught it early on, so my hope is that I can take this one apart, rebuild it, have it as a spare. Avoid any downtime, I went ahead and purchased a MY20, got the upgraded one. So I'll go over the things that I've noticed right off the bat that are different. A few things I knew up front, a few things just found once I opened the box up. Essentially, they do the exact same thing. There's no hidden secrets here. I bought the whole unit. Comes with the clutch drum, both of them do. Obviously, I haven't flown it yet, but I'm assuming that it's going to work exactly the same. As far as the profile of it, everything pretty much lines up exact. You can definitely tell that there are some differences in the casting, but nothing that's going to affect any performance. It's really, I think, just for the mounting hardware. They did make a switch as far as how it mounts. This is one of the original bolts. It's a 6mm 1.0 thread, kind of the round head with a 5mm Allen socket to tighten it down. The newer ones use more of a, if you notice, all the bolt heads are different. These use more of a hex head with the flange nut built in. And so these should be the exact same. They should be a 6mm 25mm length 1.0 thread with a hex head on there with the flange nut. So I'll probably order those, but in the meantime, what I did find out is that I can just simply take a washer and put it in there to get, I guess, a little bit more of the pressure spread out across the bolt where the bolt head normally would be, and I'm sure that would be fine. If I put a little Loctite on there, it would do the exact same thing. But I'm kind of particular. I'll probably order the correct parts. They're not that expensive. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and fly it like that. Now, a few other things I noticed. Obviously, just looking at it, you could tell that the Vittorazi logo here is kind of, I don't want to say, it's just really the powder coating's ground down. Gives it a little bit nicer look, but functionally, no big difference. But that does indicate when you're looking at it, you see these bolt heads, you see these recessed areas here are different for the flange nut bolts. You see that, you're going to know that it's a 20, not the 19 or earlier model. A few other significant changes. One, as you can see right off the bat, the drain plugs. I've already put the oil in it, unfortunately, but the drain plug here is a much smaller, I can't remember what the size nut that is. I think it's an 8mm socket that'll open that up. This one here, again, uses a 5mm Allen wrench to pull that out, and it also does have a magnet on the end of that, so it would catch any particulates that would be floating around in the gearbox. Okay, another significant change is this right here. This happens to be the same bolt pretty much that's on the 19 drain plug, but they use it as a little window, a check window. So when you do put the 30mm of gear fluid in there, it should weep out of this when it's in flying position. So when it's up like this and you take that bolt out, you should, just like a differential on a car, see the fluid, you know, weep out or leak out, telling you that you are full in your gearbox. So kind of a neat way to check your fluid level. Otherwise, this one here, you kind of, as long as you don't see it leaking out, I guess you think you're good, right? As far as the fill, they're both the exact same. No changes there. But again, you can definitely see in the casing there's some significant changes. As far as what it does internally, I don't think it would make any difference, but for maintenance purposes, I realized that if you ever needed to split this case on the 20, these pin locators, this is what locates, you know, the top and bottom half of the cases. There's one top and one bottom here. They also come with a, this is a bolt I found in my toolkit, but this would be how I imagine they want you to split the case if you ever needed to. You would put a bolt here, put a bolt on this side, obviously loosen these up or remove them, and remove this hub first. But then after tightening down on these, evenly of course, it would raise the level of the case and actually split the case much easier than on this model. When I go to tear it down, I'm not exactly sure. I'll try to do a video on it, on how to get it apart. I'm sure it won't be that difficult, but since there's no case bolts like that, gonna be fighting with it or wrestling with it just a little bit to get it to split because of the tight tolerance. Anyway, other than that, can't really think of anything significant that looks different to the naked eye anyway. I'm hoping that the bearings inside the 20 are a little bit upgraded, but only time will tell. So as far as me and my history, I've been flying a little over, or close to a year and a half. The Atom80 is pretty much what I've had start to finish. I have flown some Oasters, but never owned one. Went with the Atom80. I have approximately 140 to 145 hours on this. And the only reason I really noticed that there was a significant change is in noise level was it went from being pretty silent after and before landings when I would spin the prop to feeling a slight ticking noise, almost like there's something in the ball bearing that's loose or not right. I definitely caught it in time before it started just disintegrating in there, but I'll do a video hopefully on that, see what we find in there. But I'm not expecting anything major, probably a ball bearing case that's loose, you know, that maybe missing a bearing, probably not, but definitely not as bad as some of the ones I've heard online. So my idea again was to catch it in time, rebuild it, and have it as a spare in case somebody else needed, one of my friends needs to borrow it, or if this ever happens again, I'll have one in the toolbox I can just throw on there and keep flying. All right, so hope that makes sense. Hit me up if you have any questions. Take care.